4-color fires. There's a lot of different ways to build fires decks. This one is looking to go a little bit bigger than the Cavalier variations that we've seen. So we're playing 4 colors on the back, a bunch of Triomes and Shocklands here, so we can play Growth Spiral and Migration Path to get up to 7 lands ASAP for Agent of Treacheries and Genesis Ultimatums. This also allows us to generate very large Shark Typhoons with which to end the game. Thanks for the 12 months of support, Android. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. I don't know if I expect this to be more reasonable than the Cavalier builds, but let's jump on in some matches and find out, huh? 529. I might try and sit on rank a little bit. I think we're gonna try and sit on some rank. I'd like to qualify for the thing next month. I think I would like to mutate in whatever the qualifier event is. The qualifier event. What are we doing? 4-color fires. Shepherd is this month's card style. Wait, did I just give them money for something I'm getting? That would be super scummy. Why would they put it in a deal if I'm just about to get it for free? Did I just spew? I feel like I've spewed. That page refuses to load for me. I'm ready to be tilted about my 2,000 spewed gold. Ready to be super sideways. I made the joke about being a whale the other day to my fiance. She looked at me like I was an idiot. I then explained that I'm not alone and there's a man on the internet who taught me how to make whale noises, and that made it worse. Sub to make you for the scummy stuff. I don't understand. Oh, is this just not working again? Have we also... Alright. These people are great. Pay no attention to the arena crash behind the curtain. I'm really excited to lose the first match of this event to the fact that it queued me and it didn't actually queue me and then I can't get back in. Yeah, wow. I think that's what's happening. This is exactly what happened last time. We queued for a match. It sat there at the queue screen for like well over a minute. I canceled. I closed out the application window. The application went not responding. I reloaded it. Yeah, I don't know if it's the patch, but like Arena's actually been more buggy on Windows than it has on my Linux setup with Wine. And maybe it's just this latest patch, but like I've had way more issues since changing to Windows 10. It's been way more buggy with IQR. Yeah, I think a few people I've heard say that the IQR patch was real bad for them. Arena, can you launch? Now it doesn't even want to launch? Nah, that's not fair. Magic Online's had plenty of random actual client issues over the years. Oh, is it launching twice now? I believe it's now launched twice because I was being impatient. Good lord. $32 bits. You need more bits, Arena. We need more bits, Arena. We need to launch it twice so it's 64-bit. That makes sense. 32 plus 32 is 64. So if we launch it twice, we get 64 bits. Some bits for arena, that's how it works, right? And it's launched now, but now it's just sitting here at a black screen. Yours just crashed too. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of server issues going on with the store having issues, the random picks. Like I said, the issues today have been worse than over the weekend. And like the client hasn't updated since over the weekend. Good lord, even their status page is taking forever to load. All systems operational. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. Hey, look, I closed it, but apparently the task is still running. Is it dead now? Disappeared now? I'm going to try one more time, I guess. But I guess maybe I'm taking a day off. Maybe I'm going to take today off instead of tomorrow. I'm glad we got 2 decks in, I guess. Oh, there's definitely not a problem with my connection, Magic Arena. There's definitely not a problem with my connection. Should I try and reboot into my Linux partition and see if it works better under Wine? That's a real thing, I guess. Up! Prepare your assets, chat! Prepare your assets. We're going in. I'm excited to see a match loss in my constructed event. Wow, no losses, huh? Okay. It just straight up died without pairing me. Weird. Thanks for the 7 months, zombie token. Thanks for the 5 months. WGE, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Why do we play Magic, chat? Why do we play Magic? At least the shuffler hasn't forgotten because we're addicts. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that mostly for the comedy? Land? Well, you know. Alright, my shark, I choose you. Get in there. Get in there, shark. Seasoned Pyromancer, thank you for the 7 months. Welcome back. Sweet. Sweet. I'm gonna get some blue mana just in case they kill these fires. The what's it called? The ultimatum takes triple blue. Alright, so hoping to draw an ultimatum here, or a Agent of Treachery. Opponent also playing a ramp deck, wouldn't be too surprised to have them agent us. Can you use Kenrith +1/+1 counter? I can. I think the issue is probably just the latest patch. Bob and Cheese, if you're watching the stream, I just want you to know I appreciate your latest tweet. The strongest part about Lurrus is the part where it prevents you from making bad deck building decisions by playing expensive cards. Ain't that the truth? This darn Lurrus card forcing me to make good decisions. I consider Jeskai Fires to be the best deck in Standard right now. I don't make lazy hot takes like that. I think anybody telling you they know what the best deck in Standard is right now, they're either an idiot or they're trying to sell you something, or possibly a healthy mix of the two. Unhealthy mix of the two, depends on how you look at it. Oh, I should have played another Fires out just to have 2 of them to prevent another Teferi bounce. People are largely complaining about companions because they are scared of change. They are human and they are inherently scared of change. I guess I could have also Clarioned and then attacked the Nissa. Huh. I actually could have killed their Nissa there, right? I could have Clarioned, killed the land, given Kenrith a token. Maybe that was the line. Do I have a Lurrus list anywhere? I don't offhand. There was a 200 player 1K on MTG Melee yesterday that Team Lotus Box put on that had a Lurrus deck that won the tournament. If you check on MTG Melee for past tournaments, you should be able to find deck lists there. They have super great info, like stats and win rates and stuff like that. What's going on, Rockins in air? Thank you. People are also complaining about Mutate. Call. Show me 3 examples offhand of people complaining about Mutate. Because I haven't seen it. I feel like anyone complaining about Mutate should probably just pound sand and stop playing Magic. It's such an elegant and simple mechanic. Like, if you have a problem with it, Magic's probably not the game for you. So, we're currently experiencing what seems like it might be one of the issues with the way this deck is built, which is we've kind of done our thing, and, like, our thing is online, but, like, what we're doing doesn't really seem like it's very comparable to, like, what other decks are doing, right? Like, my opponent's deck seems to be also doing their thing, and their thing seems to be better than ours. Well, that's pretty okay. Am I playing a land out here? I don't think so. I think I'm just passing. I feel like once you understand the basics of Mutate, the way it ends up working tends to be very intuitive. I feel like Mutate works the way I expect it to work in basically all situations. Like, as someone who's played a lot of Magic, there's nothing about Mutate that goes, oh, that's weird, that's gonna trip me up, I'm gonna forget that. There's a lot of complexity in the number of different ways you can use Mutate, but I think that's a feature, that's not a bug. Elect to not die here. It has tough corner cases. Can you give me an example, please, of a tough corner case? So we just pump up Kenny, double Clarion, kill Nissa. We're in an okay spot. We even get to give him lifelink to get some of our hit points back here. I'm gonna give a slightly controversial take. I think the fact that spells fizzle when they lose their only target in Magic is incredibly stupid, and it's a rule that should change. I think that rule is incredibly unintuitive and should not be a part of Magic. I don't think I've ever explained Magic to a newer player and like explained that to them and not have them go, well, that's silly or that's dumb or that shouldn't work that way. All right, we're doing the thing. Kenny looking pretty impressive here. Thanks for the 28 months, Fizzy Dragon. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, if a spell is a secondary infect, the spell shouldn't stop working because the target left. If a card says destroy target creature, draw a card, and they bounce that creature, I should still draw a card. I feel like that's one of those things where like it's that rule feels like mana burn to me. It feels like one of those things where like it's mostly needless complexity for very little actual gain. Hey, happy new standard to you too, Punisher Dumpster. Sure, yeah, that's the same thing, Turkin. What you're talking about is the exact same thing. Hey, Sugio, thanks for the tip. I'll get that one added to the queue after I'm done streaming today. I wonder if second Kenny would have been a better follow-up. Why? Why is second Kenny a better follow-up? We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I plan to make a 10-10 Shark.
Rise, my elemental friend.
Panic at Nabisco. That's a name I can get behind. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Drusilla, thank you for the 6 months. You've upgraded from a boot. Have a training sword. Can we, a real question here is kind of, can we kill them before we run out of cards in our deck? Might be a real concern. There's 2 more Shark Typhoons in our deck.
Let's try this.
I only have 27 cards though. No, not really top 10 hammer. I'm a big fan of having things be logically consistent. Turkin. I think we're gonna need to put a Typhoon into play. I agree, because they're at 41. Big agree. Probably need to put a Typhoon into play. One of my concerns with this deck is a lack of win conditions, but I guess we have 2 agents in the deck here still, and post-board we'll get some more agents, so hopefully this ultimatum finds us an agent. Need to start using their Nissa against them. This is our last Kenrith, right? So probably want to get a bunch of life out of him. Yeah, it's unfortunate. This is my last source of life gain in the main deck. I wonder if there should be like one swamp in this deck. I don't have black mana. Putting a single black basic in would let you fetch it with Migratory Path, which could be okay. They just auto pass their turn by mistake. All right, we take those. Where are my Agent of Treacheries at, chat? Alright, that's a Shark Typhoon.
That's more like it.
I think I'm casting that as a spell. I think we're casting that as a spell. There's only 16 cards left in my deck. And I haven't hit any Agents of Treachery yet. The Sharks! The Sharks! They're coming, chat! Ah! Ah! Alright. Yatiltov, thank you for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. We cycled him into submission, chat. You love to see it. I agree that seemed a little premature. But, you know, we take those around here, chat. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Please and thank you. Do I need Deafening Clarion in post-board? I know Clarion was okay that game, but I am boarding in more agents. And I'm bringing in Aether Gust. Do we think I need Clarion to manage the game? I'm not sure that I do. I'm going to try and cut them. I reserve the right to reconsider that for game 3. Sweet. My Cool Stuff Inc. person just told me that they're gonna put a mention of the Hoaglandia Open this Saturday in their weekly newsletter, which is awesome. Is there a way to disable the overlay for just yourself? Yeah, on the center right side of your video player, there's a little overlay. There's a little overlay button. You can click on it and then toggle the check mark off for it to turn it off. You can do that for any individual Twitch extensions on any channel. We have a great hand here. So we get to go Hat Seat makes it even better. So we get to go Teferi. I'm just going to draw a card and cantrip him right away. Then next turn we get to go Fire's Migrations Path. And the following turn we can go Agent plus Cycle Shark Typhoon. I submitted a deck to my forum for the open prize. I need to add just put dollars for now and then put in the comment that it's for an open submission. I'm gonna add an option to that forum tomorrow. Add option to deck forum for open prize. Gosh, and then next turn we could do this now? I don't know if this deck is good, chat, but it certainly seems like it might be great. Typhoon only triggers on non-creatures, right? Yeah, it doesn't trigger on agent. I could Shark and then Genesis, though. That's true. Yeah, that's probably the line, actually. Although, do I want Thernissa? I kind of want Thernissa, right?
I've got time.
Alright, do I want Thernissa or do I just want Sharks ASAP? I kind of don't mind Sharks ASAP. If I'm really lucky, this will... If I'm really lucky, this is going to hit... We could just high roll into... We could high roll into an agent. Come on, chat, I need some dopamine. Let's go! Let's go! Papi! Papi! Yeah, that would be fine, Shaper. 100% good to play that one again. You love to see it, chat. Well, you don't love to see this, but, you know. Dopamine. Peak dopamine has been achieved. Sure. Sounds good, Shaper. We'll get that one re-added after I'm done today. It's a good 1-2 punch. Playing against another Fires deck here. Get to test our chops against who's more ideal than a mirror. Kruga the Macro Sage here. No, our strength here should be being able to accelerate our lands. Not having a growth spiral in our opener kind of feels bad, though. Can't really leverage that strength here. Not necessarily Lurking Blade. So, like, the Jeskai Cavalier Fires deck is basically a pseudo combo deck, right? So, like, being greedier isn't necessarily strictly ideal in a matchup like this. People are complaining about Lurrus and non-rotating formats, and I'm wondering if they know they can kill people on turn 2. The victor should be whoever has the most sharks. I agree. Listen, there are a lot of great monsters in Ikiora, but sharks are definitely the best among them. Not having a real sweeper in this deck might be a mistake. Like, I don't have any shatters in the 75. White it's a little bit light on white mana overall, so I kind of understood the decision and didn't change it. That's definitely a little bit rough here against these bigger creature decks.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
We're just dead, right? I can play another creature, give it haste next turn that's lethal. Yeah, I think the Sharks being XXs instead of 0/0s with 1/1 counters on them was definitely super intentional. Do not think it is a mistake that there is that distinction with Shark Typhoon and Mutate. Do I want Dispute in this matchup? I don't feel like I do on the play. I might have Dispute on the draw. I think on the play I just want to be super linear. I'll have a couple of Aether Gusts, a couple extra agents. On the draw, we'll need to be in a little bit more defensive position. We'll put the disputes in. Can the giant creature wrath be a consideration since you can play him with Ultimatum? That's cute. I don't know. That's probably too cute because like the Ultimatum, you draw the card if it doesn't go into play. So like it's not really a huge downside to hit actual non-permanents. The reason we're not playing Shatter is mostly a mana base consideration because hitting double white's not a super guarantee with the way this mana base is constructed. Although we've had it most games. Can anybody do a count? What is the actual white count in this deck? Anybody have it offhand? Let's get rid of my feels. What are the reals? Yeah, it's 13. Okay. Yeah, I thought I remember counting it last night and concluding I couldn't play Shatter because I almost swapped it, but I thought I did the numbers and concluded it that was irresponsible. You know, I actually should have shocked in here because basic planes means I can't cast these till later. And I could have maybe cast these if I was a little bit fortunate. Well, Blad, I hope you recover quickly. Hope it's not too bad for you. There's a lot of people that get symptoms that aren't too bad. Hopefully that's your case. Jive, thanks for the 18 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They shocked in. Do we expect a counterspell? I feel like I'm just supposed to hang out, right? Because at some point they're going to fires. It's going to be fine. A good draw. So I shocked in that land so that way I could Kenrith with haste plus draw a card. Tasty. Alright, you can always find the decks I've played earlier today on my Stream Decker page here. They'll be uploaded to the YouTube video descriptions later tonight, obviously. Do I want Dispute on the draw? Nah, I'm just going to try and linear them again. Was historic direct challenge earlier. No, why would we always just play in the queues, Drewski Brew. Even though the ranked ladder is closed, there's still a 1,000 gold entry fee constructed event. You can play with historic. Historic always has a best of 3 matchmaking queue. It's just not always ranked. I like the core idea of this deck is sweet. It's got a very straightforward, we want to do this thing, and the thing that we're doing seems pretty powerful. It seems pretty reasonable. It goes from reasonable to great if we draw like Growth Spiral plus Fires. Probably cycle Shark Typhoon on 2 here, looking for Fires. Hitting our 4th land is nice though. It's a good guarantee. Stomp it out. Stomp it out. Beep, 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 beep. Opponent correctly identifying here that we're bigger and greedier. So they're trying to run us down here before... Trying to run us down before we can get set up. I think that's a correct identification on their part. Hopefully they play Fires this turn and then don't kill us on their 5, so that way we can Genesis Ultimatum on our 5. There is a real chance that we die. See that, chat? That's bait. They have another counterspell? We might just be dead here. Feels bad, man. So what's the goal here? We cycle the migration path and hope to hit the untapped land that doesn't hurt us so we can Genesis Ultimatum next turn and hit some good things. Or actually, any land does it because we can Fires Genesis, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna cycle the path so we can... We're gonna have to really high roll with this ultimatum. Are those rolls sufficiently high? I can bounce my Fires to hold up Aether Gust here. Dead to a counterspell. Oh, we have Teferi. Sick. Alright, dead to a Bone Crusher Giant post-combat. Good call. Forgot they're playing Hearthstone. Whew! Wait, are they dead? I activate this. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 16 exactly, right? 7, 10, 16 exactly. Appropriately high roll it is. I said we were gonna have to high roll on the ultimatum, chat, and we did it. It's good, clean living right there. Do 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 do, do do do. Do 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 do. Whoa! MTG Melee is slick. With their latest patch, their deck editor now validates that you can actually use the companion you're trying to submit with your deck. That's just some good software right there. Easy mulligan here. Sure. Speculative keep. Our deck is like 27 or 28 lands in it. If we run off lands and play this on 4, this hand's very good. I'm not going to cycle this because if I can draw the lands naturally, it has a huge upside. Now we'll cycle because we're going to miss. The highs and lows of Magic the Gathering, huh? The absurdity and sweetness of that last game into what I have before you. Oh, that's a good thought. If I would have floated blue, I could have fetched green and played Spiral, but I don't know that I actually want to do that. It like would have let me draw a card, but that puts me 2 colors away from Teferi. No, it didn't really matter either way. 2 disputes, 2 extra treacheries in. Just all the greed matchups here so far, huh? That's why you play best of 3. If you play best of 3, usually there's at least one game in a set of 3 where both players get to do their thing, and there's a little bit of back and forth. I feel like we've been thoroughly teaching people that we're the greediest so far, Bob. So hopefully that trend continues here in a game where we get to actually play. Yeah, 2 cyclers this time. Hopefully we just hit some lands naturally. Again, like, fires into migration into 7 or 6 drop is like one of our better starts. So definitely going to keep this. He has a lot of potential upside. 2 for 1, your favorite card, opponent. Enjoy. I assume Spectre Shriek is like their 9th discard spell, so I'm kind of expecting them to have just like a bunch of Thought Erasures, among other things. This was a viewer submission. So the last Niv deck that we played was a build around for Niv Mizzet that was sweet. This one, I think the main deck is card for card and ended up what the person sent in. I'm actually going to elect to draw before I cycle here, because if I draw a green source, I want to cast this. Sick. And if I missed a land drop, or I drew a non-green source there, I'd probably cycle, but we don't have to worry about that. So I need second green, and then I have all my other colors, right? And plenty of blue and red. So it's triple blue, double green, double red. How is the bounty counter creature in the deck? It was serviceable, playable, constructed, playable. Alright, need to draw untapped lands here that cast this. Well, I mean, at least we have 2 of them. Opponent's just playing like Esper discard. Gotta defend the title on Saturday. Sounds good, Mr. Napper. Thank you for the 15 months, and congrats on winning our first open last weekend. They lost a Heliod's Intervention off of Shriek. Doom Foretold is unsurprising here. Really just want any untapped land so we can stick this Agent of Treachery. Really unfortunate here. Yeah, sacking their saga makes a lot of sense because they don't care about exiling my graveyard on the final chapter of this. Now, the fires does mean that any land, even a tapped land, lets us do the thing next turn. Alright, I'm going to try and high roll now. God, that's frustrating. I'm going to play a 2-mana discard spell and take my Genesis Ultimatum. Is that really awful match of Magic? Just didn't get to play game 1, and this game just like sitting here so close and yet so far away. You don't hold the title if it's a deferred. That's not true. It's all the same series. So now we have to like draw a land and draw a payoff. And like we're already through so many payoffs. Shark Typhoon's probably our best draw. It's like Shark Typhoon, cycle, hit a land, draw a 7, drop the following turn. Right on time, Sacred Foundry. Welcome to the party. Great, that opens up our live draws at least. So we've got what? 1 more ultimatum in our deck. 2 more ultimatums. Yes, exactly. This is when we just draw a bunch of lands in a row now that we no longer need them. It is precisely how Magic the Gathering tends to work. And, like, they knew about that dispute, so I kind of assume they have another bomb here they're ready to play out.
Mind and body should move in unison, like wind and wave. Meditate and prepare.
Thanks for the 9 months, Top 10 Hammer. I mean, if we hit an ultimatum and high roll it, we're still in this game. Yep. Yep. And we don't, it's like a blessing and a curse. Like, we can't just concede even though we're infinitely far behind because, like, we do have a couple nuts. We have to, like, sit here and suffer through to the very end. If 9 lands, is there a chance you should have spiraled because of an agent? No, I definitely should not have spiraled. Definitely should not have spiraled.
Keep an open mind.
Planeswalker text gets you every time. Alright, that's fine. 2 and 1. And the words of the greatest poet of our generation, you just gotta shake, shake, shake it off, chat. I'm gonna roll on into the next one. Sometimes you don't really get to play Magic. Magic plays you. You got this. The templating of Narset does allow us to draw a card on their turn. That is correct. However, they had a bunch of discard spells, so it didn't matter. Playing against Luris here. I think we're going down again. Sugar, we're going down. It actually seems pretty okay. Let's draw some lands in the payoff. Alright, you love to see it. Let's, hit another land by turn 4. Goes Fires, Migration Path, 7th land, payoff spell. Let's do it, chat. In it to win it. God bless the London Mulligan, by the way. All those buddy-duddies that hate it. This game is so much better with the introduction of the London Mulligan. It's kind of unreal how much better Magic is as a game because of the London Mulligan. Clarion, just actually close to the perfect draw here. That's unfortunate. I think I'm actually binning Fires here. I think with Migration Path, I can actually just cast my spells. So I think Fires is the one we get rid of. It's the closest thing to excess that we have. Alright, so we get to Migration Path next turn, and then we got 2 shots to draw a land to Genesis Ultimatum. They're 1 card short of escaping Croxy here, so they're probably going to lure us and start deploying dorks. Well, next turn it can be a tapped land. 2 turns from now it has to be an untapped land. I think this is the play. This might be wrong. Might be wrong. The Lurrus deck is very good. The Lotus Box tournament that happened over the weekend, I believe half of the top 8 was Lurrus Aristocrats decks. So I have triple blue, I have double green, I have double red, so I just need whatever blue and red lands I want to get here with Genesis Ultimatum. Five Lurrus, 2 Reclamation decks, and 1 Fires. Yeah. Yeah, and like, decks that have aggressive slants doing well at the start of a format is basically to be expected. If they have a second Croxa here, we're going to need to peel. If they don't have a second Croxa, we could potentially high roll and win next turn. No, Lurrus only lets you cast each 1 spell per turn, so they can't just like sit there and fire them off. The card's good, it's not that good. Now, unfortunately, we have to pay mana for this. Like, I can't activate Kenrith this turn. Do I want Shark Typhoon in play or in my hand? I think I want Shark Typhoon. I guess I probably just want it in play. I'm probably going to be gaining life with Kenrith, right? Hey, Nanobots, thanks for a third of a year. Welcome back. The Genesis, the Teamer Ultimatums have been genuinely impressive in this deck. Like, we've like super high rolled in spots we needed to high roll and just like won more winning games that I feel like we have no business winning. Okay. If we get to untap here, we probably win the game because Kenrith gains, you know, infinite life. So can they punch lethal is the question. I get to block Lurrus, block Cat, take 2 in combat. Sounds good, Wogs. Hey, Nebbed, thanks for the entire year of support. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. I'll have to manually cap with Kenrith for optimal life gain, maybe. Oh, I actually only have 2 white sources as well. Because I couldn't get planes to still cast my ultimatum. Things to note. Does the Lurrus come back to me at end of turn here? Does anybody know? Do I get their thing back because of the Claim the Firstborn? It says till end of turn, but it's their permanent. And then these only deal 2 to me, right? And they don't have a hand? So this is... Poor Shark. Gain a bunch, go. Load their graveyard for Croxa? Sure, but like I just gained infinite life. This Luris is gonna be what, like an 8 something next turn? Easy game. What an easy game Magic the Gathering is, chat.
This isn't a fight.
Do 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 do. Shock and Hushbringer sound good. I think Teferi Time Raveler's not particularly good here. What am I trimming? Is it crazy to cut the Shark Typhoons here? Is it crazy to think Agent of Treachery is better than Shark Typhoon in this matchup? I kind of feel like it is. What do we think of this board plan? Do we want Hushbringer even if they have Croxa? Yeah, I guess that's fair. Maybe Gust is better. Maybe Cage is best? Okay, yeah, I'll buy Cage. Yeah, sure. I mostly have this in here for Gyruda. But yeah, that's probably fine. Let's try this. Hey, Fidget About. Thanks for the 2.5 years. So we'll get to go Triome on 1, Growth Spiral, Shock on 2 potentially. I believe Gyruda is still suspended on Magic Online. I don't know. I don't play nearly as much Magic Online anymore. With the Temple Garden drawn and the Clarion at hand, probably going to Growth Spiral into Temple Garden tapped into Migration Path. We'll see how aggressive they get here. Going to leave ourselves the option to Clarion next turn, potentially. Okay, probably want to shock that. Or would I rather Clarion those? Am I shocking Butcher or Clarioning their pair? I think I'm Clarioning their pair, actually. Gyruda is suspended in all formats on Magic Online currently because Magic Online is buggy. And rather than having to refund a bunch of players playing Gyruda their entry fees to event, they just suspended the card till they fix it. I could Spiral and Clarion here, yeah. I don't know. I'm holding up Shock. There's a good chance they play Luris or something next turn. I already have 2 white sources, so I just maximize my ability to cast Ultimatum should we draw it. Yeah, opponent didn't use the oven on the Kroxa because they prioritized dealing an extra damage with the cat rather than having an extra food left over, which seems pretty reasonable considering they're the beatdown on the current board. Like, the extra food doesn't really accomplish much for them. So, that was probably intentional as opposed to an oversight. So I'm waiting to Kenrith here because with the threat of active treason, I don't want to Kenrith until I can also activate it to gain life in the same turn. And now I'll be able to do this, and I can gain life plus draw a card next turn or gain life twice. So sequencing works out really elegantly here for us. Again, they can't escape the Kroxa while the cage is in play. Sure. How does Ultimatum work with Cage? Not how we want it. So we have to cast our spells when we have Yeah, but Grafdigger's Cage says creatures can't enter the battlefield from players' libraries. So yeah, they'll get to go to our hand though. We'll draw them and then get to play them. So it's not a complete. We still get to draw them. It's just not as powerful. It is a power level downswing for our card though. Oh, you know what? I think I should have taken. Instead of trying to take their cat, I should have taken the oven. Yeah, exactly. Because if I take the oven, they can't active treason me and then sacrifice it, so I get my Kenrith back. I definitely should have taken that. I was realizing that as I was casting. I was like, oh, I could have taken the oven. Yeah, definitely lime. There are cards that can be cast from your deck. If you want to see really wild Magic the Gathering cards, look up the card Panglacial Worm. It's a real Magic card that's real weird. So I didn't put the second counter on the agent yet, because if they wanted to target it with the ping, I would then pump it in response, effectively gaining an extra life. So by waiting, I give them a chance to make a mistake. Electing to put the counters on my agent as opposed to the Kenrith, because if they draw an active treason, they'll want to take the Kenrith away, so I want my leftover creature to be as large as possible. Alright, let's play one more with this. I'm going for a little over an hour, so we'll finish either 4-1 or get the old 3-2. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting the top end of this deck to feel as real as it has. Like, both the Ultimatum and just, like, Agent's obviously good, but Ultimatum's really, like, pulled us out in stolen games that I wasn't expecting. Yeah, it tops Bolas' Citadel and Experimental Frenzy as well. That second clause is worth noting. Nah, I don't think we need a Swamp Siren. We've been fine without it. Sometimes the simplest tweets are the best. I just retweeted one. It was like, uh-oh, they tried to give us good cards again, and everybody's mad again. I feel like every time they print Magic cards that are like playable in Legacy, Modern, and Pioneer, and like those bigger formats, people just like lose their ever-loving minds. We love our formats how they are. Stop trying to change them. I've really enjoyed the companions too. I think they're sweet, chat. Yeah, of course, Spicy. The one thing you need to understand is that the only thing Magic players like more than playing Magic the Gathering is complaining about Magic the Gathering. He says, as he's about to complain about the Wilderness Reclamation his opponent just played. This matchup's probably unwinnable. Would not be surprised this is the end of the road for us. It's going to be the end of the road regardless, but would not be surprised if we exit this match 3-2 as opposed to 4-1. Why do players in other formats not like the meta to change? Because when non-rotating formats change, there's always a chance that decks that people like playing in those formats get pushed out or are no longer playable. A lot of the people that focus primarily on non-rotating Magic formats focus on non-rotating Magic formats because they want to be able to have one deck that they play and play it forever with making minimal changes to that. They've bonded or connected with their specific deck, and anything that makes their deck worse or unplayable is just untenable. Yeah, a lot of those people also don't look at Magic as a hobby they need to put more money into. There's, no joke, and I wish I was joking, but this is a real thing. If you're an arena player, it's going to sound extra silly to you most likely. A lot of people who play non-rotating formats often look at their Magic deck as an investment. It's not a game that they play, it's the equivalent to their IRA. In fact, no joke, I once knew a guy that cashed out his Roth IRA to buy a set of power. And like anything that threatens that investment, there are a lot of people who make bad monetary decisions, and they're not playing it for the game, they're trying to do this other thing with it, and then, they're not spending their entertainment budget, they're spending money they should be saving. Any strong opinions on the reserve list? Yeah, the reserve list is stupid. The reserve list is just a reason that Wizard of the Coast has to, like, justify not supporting formats people want to play. What am I cutting here? I need the disputes. I need the Gust. I feel like I want the agents. Am I supposed to trim Genesis Ultimatum in this matchup? Maybe it's just Migration Path. I just want, like, higher action density. Actually, I'm going to trim the Growth Spirals. I'm going to keep the one that cycles. Yeah, let's do that. I think this match is probably difficult to impossible for us. Our deck's pretty clunky, and it's hard for us to board down. I thought they could get sued if they print cards on the reserve list. Listen, I'm not a lawyer, but I would just like to point out that, like, that's the same argument I heard for why we couldn't have Magic tournaments that paid cash online, and like Channel Fireball figured out how to run tournaments that pay cash online in a weekend. Yeah, also, this is America. You can sue anyone for literally anything. Like, no joke. Wizards of the Coast once sued a smaller game company because the cards in their game client tapped to the right. Magic the Gathering has a patent on cards tapping to the right in a card game. Like, the things you can trademark or patent or whatever the correct jargon is just like very, very silly. It's not a good system. It's a system where if you can't innovate, you litigate. You stifle market competition by suing them over things like that. Patent trolling, yep. Alright, so we need a third blue source. I have 2 red, I have 2 green. I'm just gonna get some blue lands. Alright, I'm gonna shock this in so I can pay for a dispute and also dispute a counterspell. It also lets me cycle this Triome down the line.
Let's slow this down.
We work in wireless communications, and working for a patent troll is a legit endgame for some people. They get paid hundreds per hour to testify in court. Yeah. I mean, as with most things in late stage capitalism, the goal of patent trolling is to make money for most people, right? I often feel bad Teferiing people, except for Flash players. They deserve every minute of it. Don't feel bad about Teferiing a Flash player, chat.
I've got it.
They're just getting their comeuppance.
You show remorse.
If there's anybody that deserves this, it's anyone that's registered the Flash deck.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Oh, I could instant speed this, technically. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be 10, 11 mana. I think I'm just playing this and planning to cycle this other one. Yeah, get that sweet, sweet auto pass value. Not to be auto pass value, not to be understated. 1 ultimatum, please. So if I cycle this, I could get an ultimatum this turn. However, if I cycle that, I can't draw a card with Kenrith. I think I'd rather draw a card with Kenrith. I mean, the Flash deck seems like it likely struggles with decks like Luris, just because the Luris deck has such cheap, efficient threats in it. Since you're running a tournament, any thoughts of a rotating list of banned cards for any of the hoots? Maybe if formats are especially stale, but like with historic getting new cards literally every 6 weeks, I'm really not expecting historic to get very stale. Well, even if we had black mana, reanimating their counter creature wouldn't be a particularly good play. I'd encourage you to read Kenrith the Returned King. Yeah, you can put Typhoon into play. If you like Typhoon sitting on the battlefield, you definitely will want to go back and watch the Jeskai control deck we played in Historic the other day. It was awesome. We cast a lot of Typhoons and 6-mana enchantments. Of course you can get a Timeout Blade. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Storm's Wrath is real good. They have another way to kill this Kenrith. If they have Expansion Explosion here, we're actually pretty far behind, huh? Yep, looks like it. That's unfortunate. So they have 7, so we're going to draw 3 cards here. Or just a couple and leave mana up. Alright, so Genesis Ultimatum's our best draw. Agent of Treachery is good second. We're going to draw a land, of course. The good news is they don't want to bounce my Shark Typhoon at least. So, like, if we draw spells, that'll be good. I think Shark Typhoon should basically go in every control deck. I think this is a card that should be in most standard and historic control decks. We played 4 of these in the Sultai control deck we played the other night. That felt fantastic. That deck seemed very, very good. In fact, with that Sultai control deck with the Luris deck being popular, I'd probably just play 4 Cry of the Canarium in the main. Cry seems real, real good. Should you put it in your Doom Foretold deck? Yeah, probably. Having ways to win the game is busted. So, I feel like it's probably true in Standard too, but like in Historic, we played Jeskai and we didn't play Dream Trawler, and we played Jeskai Ultimatum, and Jeskai Ultimatum was, like, really good. We played Jeskai Ultimatum and Shark Typhoon instead of Dream Trawler, which is wild to think about. Like, if you would have told me last season that Dream Trawler was going to feel outclassed by other control win conditions, I'd been like, you crazy, get out of here. As expected here, pretty thoroughly outclassed by the Flash deck. I think the Flash decks exist and are going to be competitive in this format in large part because of the existence of decks like the one we're playing. The other Fires decks that exist aren't quite as greedy as this one that we're on, but even those tend to get hosed by these counterspell decks pretty well. Overall, I think this deck exceeded my expectations. I was honestly expecting it to feel a lot clunkier than it did, and I felt like we were able to do our thing relatively consistently. The big takeaway to me was that migration path with Fires really made getting to these 7 drops pretty consistent. Like, if you number of games we went like Fires Path, and then like turn 5 had these. And I think there was even one game where we went Growth Spiral into Fires Path that had like turn 4 Genesis Ultimatum. Yeah. All right, what are we doing? We've got we've got quite the brew up next. This is an update on a deck from last season that was awesome. So I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick actually and hit an ad roll and get my client restarting everything flipped over. When we get back, we are gonna kick the tires on a 3-card, not quite infinite deck, but you know, relatively good. Some more Shark Typhoons too, cause Shark Typhoon. All right, back in a few.